Hi, guys. So welcome back to the Wisdom Within Her podcast. On this episode, we'll be talking about self-improvement. So this is a good one. So we're talking about how to be self-sufficient, how to do things for yourself, and how to be dependent on yourself. So just come tune in. So self-improvement, what does that mean to you? Obviously, it can mean different things. Obviously, it just means to better yourself, right? To become a better version of yourself. But for me, it's a little different. It's to revamp, right? To revamp yourself, to do things different. So what does that mean? Get uncomfortable with yourself. That's the number one thing. To self-improve, you have to get uncomfortable with yourself. So what does that look like? Do things alone, right? Spend time alone. Spend time by yourself. Because if you're with everybody else and they're already improving, that's not going to work, right? So spend time alone. Do things yourself, right? Do things that you want to do for others. Do it for yourself. If we're waiting for others to do it for us, it's not going to work. So treat yourself. That's the number one thing. What I always say is something that was uncomfortable for me is doing things alone, right? But now I love it. I do everything alone. I'm always by myself, honestly. And that's my greatest tool. That's my biggest asset, I think, for myself. I'm just a one-man army. I'm a one-woman army. So I just love it because what I do is I go out to eat by myself. I do things by myself. And it just makes my mind really better because I don't depend on anyone. And as a female, be independent. Don't be codependent. That's the problem nowadays, especially with the society. We're always wanting to depend on everybody else for validation. We want to depend on everybody else to do things for us instead of depending on yourself. That's another thing. Don't seek any validation from anyone. Seek it from yourself, right? Stick with your intuition. Stick with your gut feeling, right? Believe in yourself. You have to trust yourself, right? So to self-improve, you have to trust you, right? We can't go around trusting everybody else, but then when it comes to ourselves, we don't know how to do this. No, depend on yourself. Trust yourself. Because if you trust yourself, your intuition will never lead you wrong. And I say that from my own personal experience. You have to trust yourself. I had to trust myself. Just letting other people lead you into destruction, that's not an improvement, right? So you have to go through things to get through things. So in order to become one of yourself, you have to understand, okay, don't depend on anyone else, right? Another thing is to become fearless. When you become fearless and you conquer everything that you once didn't used to conquer or you once depended on, it's a great thing because it'll catapult you to your greatest potential. The fact of it is, when you become fearless, you stop thinking of what everybody else thinks. You stop thinking of what everyone else might say. No, you depend on yourself, right? You stand on your grounds, fearless. So as a female, I always say it's important to become one. It's important to understand, to tap into you and to conquer all your fears, conquer all your goals headstrong. Because again, we all have fears, right? We all have things that we need to work on. We all have traumas. We all go through things. But if you're running away from all your issues, that's not an improvement. But again, with self means one. It's you versus you. It's not me versus anyone else. There's no comparison. That's another thing. Literally just view into you, right? Focus on you until the focus is you. And as a female, I always say, the greatest thing is to be your own leader, follow yourself, right? We always want to have admirers. Why can't we admire ourselves? Look in the mirror and understand that there's changes that needs to be done, but it starts with you. So again, self-improvement. What can I do differently that I used to do that wasn't good, right? What am I tolerating now that I will never used to tolerate? What did I overcome now that I didn't never overcome or never seen myself overcoming? And a lot of times, we don't want to face it. We get so scared. We don't want to really sit with ourselves and think that. But again, it's needed. And again, I want to encourage you, sit with yourself, right? Write all those things down that you need to work on with yourself. Rip yourself apart a little bit. You have to. Society already will. So you have to get comfortable with yourself, because that's another thing. Love all ends of yourself. Love every part of you. Because again, you're with yourself. So why wouldn't you love every part of you, right? So another thing, I said to get uncomfortable, right? So you have to get uncomfortable to be comfortable. So you have to understand you have to love everything that you've been through. You have to, it might sound weird, but you have to place yourself, right? We all went through trauma, but the meaning of it is to heal, right? So you have to understand that what you went through doesn't break you, right? It just makes you. So to improve, you have to feel that. And the thing is, you have to feel that pain. You have to cope with it, right? But again, you have to improve yourself with it. You can't just say, okay, on to the next. That's how we get stagnant. That's how we don't improve. But the fact of it is, as a female, we have to just encourage. I have to encourage you because, again, everything I'm saying is something I've either went through, go through, or had to do myself. And again, self-improvement doesn't just take one day, 1 minute. It can take a year. It can take multiple years. To improve yourself is a battle between you and you, right? So I always say, what I used to tolerate, it will never be today. Like what I used to tolerate, it will never stand to where I am today. The woman that I used to be, I'm never her, right? So the woman I am today is not who I used to be. And that's how you should be. The things that I used to tolerate is not what's in my life now. So just say, for instance, I used to always be codependent. I used to always want that friend. I used to always want that relationship, not fighting for anything. That's the thing. As a female, be strong on your own, right? Fight for yourself the way that you fight for other people, right? Fight for yourself the way you're trying to hold a relationship. Because the fact of it is, you're probably already drowning, but you're not understanding that because you're not trying to put into yourself, right? So the fact of it is self-improvement. Fill yourself up, right? Pour into you. Love yourself, right? The fact of it is that when you self-improve, it sounds like, okay, we're just doing little things for ourselves. We're tweaking little things. No, I mean the whole thing. What do you know your triggers? Do you know things that you didn't used to know about yourself? Self-improve meaning, do you do things to yourself, and do you just feel the way that you feel about yourself that you didn't used to? So what I mean by that is, of course, every girl thinks they're pretty, they're all that, but sometimes everybody's self-esteem is not the way that it should be. So again, self-improvement. Are you doing things to tweak that? Again, insecurities, it happens, but you have to be secure. Self-improvement, be secure within yourself, right? Stand on your own 10 toes because nobody's going to tell you to be secure. That's just what it is. Society isn't going to tell you that. They're going to make you do everything else to make you feel insecure, but then as it's a secure thing. No. It's okay to be insecure, but it's not okay to not want to fix it. All right? It's okay to do things, but it's not okay to go about it as not fixing it. So on my podcast, I want to encourage you, be secure, be who you are, and to improve and to do things the right way. Be a better version of yourself. Because again, who you are yesterday does not have to be who you are today. And the fact of it is, stand on your own 10 toes. Do not depend on anyone. So again, what does self-improvement consist of? Sometimes crying, sometimes having raging nights. It's not all a pretty scene because again, self-improvement, you have to go through things. You have to shred different layers of yourself to get to know who you really are, right? So the fact of it is, can you stand in the mirror and say, okay, this is who I am? 10 times out of 10, a lot of people can't. But this is why I want to tell you, it's okay to feel that way, but it's okay to also get up and do something about it, right? As a female, get up. As a female, do not just say, okay, I can't look myself in the mirror. I don't want to look at myself, so I'm going to do other things. No, heal yourself. Self-improvement, what can I do to heal? Self-improvement, what can I do to better me, educate me? That's another thing. In order to self-improve, you have to, tap into yourself. You know how you read a book? Read you. Can you read yourself? We try to, read everyone else. We try to read the room. We want to look at everybody else's situation. We try to compare everything else to everybody. But why are we not looking at ourselves? We have to view ourselves in our own image because we are who we are. And again, it can't make you over, but you can revamp yourself, right? So who you are in, high school is now who you are as an adult. And again, change is necessary. So in order to self-improve, you have to be willing to change. In order to improve, you cannot be stagnant. You cannot say, I don't want to change, because that's not self-improving. So again, I had to do it, right? I had to look myself in the mirror. I had to study myself. I had to understand what I could not go around because it wasn't improving me. I had to drop bad habits. I had to stop being around certain people because it wasn't no beneficial to me. And again, society will tell you, okay, you knew them all your life. You have to still be around them. but in reality, they're bringing you down. So how is that improving you? And sometimes it'd be your own ones that you think that, okay, I love them. Okay, those are my besties, whatever the case may be. But in reality, if something is not beneficial to you, if something is not improving in your life the way that it needs to be, you have to let it go. As a female, we always want, but we don't want to shred the parts that's not necessary working for us. But you have to let that go. So in order to heal, you have to let things go. You cannot just be, keeping it. No, let it go. In order to self-improve, you have to understand, what is it that I need to do for me? At some point, you have to stop doing for others because you're not doing for yourself. Right? And again, if you have a friend that's not improving, you have to understand that you're not a real friend either, because are you improving? No. But you have to take the time out to just understand that, become who you are, right? But in order to become who you are, you have to understand there's work that needs to be done. So in order to self-improve, you have to do your shadow work. You have to heal. You have to spend nights alone. And sometimes you have to be alone, right? As a female, again, we always want relationships. We always want a friend. We always want validation from the world. How can I do this? How can I do that? Instead of just saying, okay, Danielle, what can I do to be by myself? What do I need to do to make this work? I don't need to ask you what I already know. As a female, you know the answers, but you're not tapped into your intuition. And that, again, is where we need to draw the line, because society doesn't want you to know this. But again, in order to self-improve, you have to be self-aware. So again, are you aware or are you oblivious? So you have to understand, because if you're not aware of yourself, you're just gonna not be full potential of yourself. You're not going to be your highest potential. But that's where we have to draw the line. As a female, you have to get there. As a female, you have to be able to feel your emotions. In order to improve, you have to be able to want to do it, right? So improving could look something totally different from me to you. My improving can be something so big or something so minor as, I used to get mad over this, but now I'm not. I used to do this, but now I don't. Right? I used to be around this environment, but now I grew. So it can be something so little or so big. But again, don't compare, right? Because again, my improvement is different than your improvement. But again, you have to not be so hard on yourself either, right? You have to be gentle with yourself, because it's always a growing experience. It's always a learning experience, because it is, and everybody has to learn everything differently. But the fact of it is, we all have to learn. Right? Every day is a learning progress. But am I going to continue beating myself up for it? No. I want to take this ride and I'm going to just learn myself the way I need to. And it's not a race, but healing is progress, right? Healing takes time, and self-improvement takes time. Revamping yourself takes time. I had to do it. So if I had to do it, we all have to do it. But again, self-improvement is hard, because again, nobody's going to tell you, okay, I don't think you should do this. I think you should go about it this way because I see you breaking down over here. That's not what society is going to do. Growing up in a Black family, in a Black culture, self-improvement is not really looked at all. So the fact of it is, oh, you're good. You got it. You're good. But I don't have it. I'm not good. I need the help, but nobody's helping me. But you have to get up and look in the mirror and say, okay, it's time to do it for myself. But again, as a female, create those boundaries, right? Self-improvement. You have to have boundaries. You have to have discipline. So with discipline, you have to sit with yourself. With discipline, you have to know, okay, I can't do that because this is going to happen. It's going to be a spiral effect, right? We don't need any letdowns. So in order to not get let down from anyone, don't expect things. Expect it from you. So self-improvement, right? Codependency, dependable, right? We have to be independent. As a female, that's a huge thing for me, because I'm hyper independent. I am super independent. I don't depend on anyone. I wouldn't care if I say, oh, what to wear today? That's too much for me. And it can be so little, but it's just something, it can be a blessing or it could be a curse, right? Because again, if you had to do it all the time by yourself, what is it now to ask, right? And a lot of times as a female, you wouldn't want to ask. And again, that's why I say, look in the mirror. You are your answers, right? I don't ask anyone. I used to, but again, used to. It's okay to used to do it, but as long as you don't do it now. And I'm not saying you can't ask, but what I'm saying is, as a female, we get so comfortable. We get so comfortable with everyone else doing something for ourselves, right? We get so comfortable with everyone else doing things for us. But why can't we do things for ourselves? It's our nature to just ask. But as a female, we don't want to put in the work. So again, that's where I personally draw the line at, and I say, okay, I had to get myself up. I had to do this. I had to do that for me. And again, growing takes time, and it's not 2 days. It's not a month. It's a couple years. And honestly, I can say self-improvement, it always doesn't feel good because again, you have to get uncomfortable. You have to become fearless. You have to feel those emotions that you once didn't want to feel. And even you have to feel those traumas, right? In order to heal the trauma, you have to feel the trauma, right? In order to heal the trauma, you have to understand, okay, what is it that triggered me, right? In order to feel healed, you have to feel unhealed. So again, in order to improve, you have to know your mistakes. It's okay to make your mistakes, but it's not okay to not fix them. And again, as a female, it's important for us to not get so comfortable. Don't get so comfortable. You have to shake that off because again, they're not going to tell you that. They want you to be comfortable. They want you to be dependent on them. As a female, don't let no one give you a chance to starve. And again, that can go any way you want it to go. As a female, society already looks at us as if, we can't do much, right? We already have the basic standards, the basic needs of it that's met. No. Break those cycles, right? When you're, not to say I'm older, but I'm young still, right? So looking at me, I had to improve, right? Everybody can improve. You don't have to be old, you don't have to be young, you could be whatever. Everyone can improve. And the fact of it is, it's no book, right? But it is a growing cycle. You have to grow. You have to grow. And the fact of it is that you can't just give up. Okay, I'm good today, so I'm not going to do any better next week. No, keep going, right? Do some journaling. Self-improvement, do some journaling, do some reading, right? Do some things that we have social media. How can I improve myself, right? How can I lose weight? How can I gain weight? If that's something that you want to do, right? Use social media wisely, use your resources. That's another thing. We get so comfortable. We're always on TikTok, we're always on Facebook, but we're not using our resources, right? How can I balance out my meals? Anything is self-improving. I don't care if it's from fitness to weight to mindsets to spirit. Like it's just how you improve. It's just what you have to improve. It's just what you have to do. And as a female, it's time to look at all aspects, not just, one thing, not just physical. We don't always need to talk about physical. That's just the number one thing. That's our problem. That's females' problem. We always want to look good. We always want to do this, but our mindset sucks. That's the problem. And the fact of it is, as a female, they don't tell us this, but your mindset is your greatest asset. Your intelligence is your greatest asset, because again, what are you bringing to the table? If you self-improve, you'll self-reflect. So the fact of it is, you'll become very disciplined. And again, your standards will be very high because when you self-improve, you're realizing, okay, I'm doing this all by myself. I can do it. It can be done. And it's already been done. So the fact of it is, okay, now I'm independent. I'm doing things myself. My mindset is amazing, right? I healed. I am healing, right? The fact of it is that you don't have to depend on anyone. You don't need any validation from no one. Your validation is within yourself. But as a female, are you tapped in to know? Are you really tapped in to know? Because again, you might not be, but it's okay. It's just the fact that, do you want to change? Do you want to get there? And again, we get so caught up into different things. For me, self-improvement, a big thing, because honestly, especially young girls, we always want to get back, right? When you get out of a relationship, somebody did something wrong, we want to get back so bad. Self-improvement is to not waste your time. Self-improvement is do not use your body as a get back. Do not use you as a get back. Your get back should be your mindset. Leave them alone. Don't try to do, okay, get back, whatever. No. exit the premises. That's just me. That's who I am. If you know me in real life, that I'm not doing any of that. I'm out of there. No one chance, no zero. It's zero chances with me. Like, seriously. And that's how you know. Do you love yourself? Why are you letting people hurt you like that? Again, self-improve, right? We're talking about self-improvement. We're talking about everything. As a female, don't let anyone continue doing you the way that you would not do you. Right? So again, why are your standards so low? Self-improve. Higher them, right? Self-improve. Why are you letting things get past you if you wouldn't even get it past you? Right? You have to understand. Be your own best friend. Self-improve. Stop relying on everything else. Right? Understand that you are who you are. Right? You've been through where you've been through. It's okay. But do you want to be who you need to become? That's the thing. Are you aware? Are you oblivious? It's important to understand that you need to grow, right? We have to grow. If we're not improving, we're stagnant. If we're being stagnant, then our life is regular. Our life is going to be in shambles, right? Society is going to pull you apart. But the fact of it is, I'm a female, and I want to tell you as a female, let's get it together, right? I want to tell you as a female, it's important to do the right thing, right? Be the best version of yourself. Continue climbing. Be your greatest potential. Because again, it can be done. And I'm not as old as I'm sitting. I'm not. So I'm young. So I want to just encourage you to understand that do what's needed for yourself, right? You want to rely on yourself. You want to be dependent on yourself. Be independent, right? Be strong. Stand on your 10 toes. I don't care who's saying what. That's another thing. Self-improvement. I used to care, but now I don't. So continue stepping outside the box, right? When it comes to you, don't play about you. Self-improve, right? When it comes to me, I draw the line. I'm not playing. Self-improve. I used to play a lot, but now I don't play. So self-improve. It's okay to have fun. It's okay to do this, do that. But when it comes to you, and particularly, you have to draw the line at some point. Because if you're playing about you, what do you think everybody else is going to do? Just say, for instance, if I'm focused on me, not caring who's not focused on anyone else, right? You're focused on you. What do you think everyone else is going to do? Focus on you. Because you're focused on you. You're doing what you need to do. In every aspect, right? You're going to do what you need to do. And it's not about no one else. It's not about nobody else. It's me versus me. So I need it to be you versus you. Be disciplined, right? Give yourself a couple months. Sit out a little bit, right? Get out the game a little bit. Because seriously, you can improve. You can do better. And again, as a female, it's time for us to do better. Society is not going to tell us that, but we got to do better. Especially to the little teens, you got to do better. It's okay to be who you are. It's okay to understand that you can be self-sufficient because you need to be. But again, be disciplined. Stand on your 10 toes, right? Be fearless. Become fearless. You have to cry it out, cry it out. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be on your emotions. It's okay to be rage. But what is not okay is to hold it in. I used to hold it in, but now I don't. Self-improvement. Change. So just to wrap this episode up, I just want to, leave you guys with continue being who you are, right? Becoming fearless. Being comfortable with yourself. Love yourself. Heal yourself. Stand on your own 10 toes. Don't depend on anyone. Right? And I just want you to understand I'm a female and I say it can be done. Right? So I just hope that you guys got a lot out and continue keeping on with me on this journey because again, I love it. And I just want you to understand the truth needs to be spoken. Continue following me on my journey, and continue just tapping in with me on my Wisdom Within Her podcast. Okay, guys.